Figure it this way. Better to be king for a night than schmuck for a lifetime.
Joker, the movie that captured the attention of comic book fans and your average moviegoers alike. With 11 Oscar nominations, 2 wins, and A-list casting crew, this movie is the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time, even beating Deadpool. Sorry, Deadpool. Yet you've seen it before in 1983. This dark DC movie stars the villainous comic book character Joker, who was first introduced to us in the Batman comic from April 1940, making him one of the oldest comic book characters to date, and he has since been on our screens in movies like The Dark Knight, Batman, Suicide Squad, and even the Lego Batman movie, voiced by Zach Galifianakis for some reason. So how did Todd Phillips make the Joker into a new and unique movie? Well, simply by making him the king of comedy. And I do mean that quite literally. Take yourself back to 1983, not that I was alive then, but it was the year the world population was at a mere 4.7 billion, Michael Jackson released his music video for Thriller, and it was also the year the movie The King of Comedy, directed by Martin Scorsese, was released, hence the point of this video. The King of Comedy, starring Robert De Niro as Rupert Pupnik, revolves around the passionate, unsuccessful comedian who dreams of being in the spotlight and appearing on his favourite talk show, hosted by his idol Jerry Langford, played by Jerry Lewis. In his spare time, Pupnik dreams up scenarios of himself having dinner with Jerry, appearing on his show, being adored by fans, and even marrying his love live on air. Now, we've all lay in our beds at night making up fake scenarios about what it would be like if your favourite celebrity was actually obsessed with you, but unlike Pupnik, rarely do we stalk them in their office, go to their home uninvited, or even kidnap them just so we can appear on their show. Whilst the stylistic choices for the mise-en-scene do differ between the movies, both are crafted as a character study about a mentally unstable societal outcast whose main goal is to seek approval from others by making irreverent jokes about their past trauma in the form of a comedy routine, whilst also coincidentally wearing a colour-coordinated three-piece suit. Joker recycles many shots and themes from The King of Comedy, such as obsession, the need for approval, and the effect of mental illness. Postmodern theorist Jameson named this concept of borrowing ideas bricolage, and boy is Joker filled with bricolage. Other notable films that are used as the jigsaw piece to make the Joker are Taxi Driver, Dog Day Afternoon, Serpico, and You Were Never Really Here. But let's see how similar they really are. Both characters manifest fake scenarios of meeting their idol on their talk show, such as in The King of Comedy when De Niro is on the sofa imagining he is talking to Jerry. Identically, in Joker, Joaquin is dreaming he is talking to Murray on his talk show, and both protagonists are adored by the hosts.
Because I envy you. I hate you, but I envy you.
That stuff, I'd give it all up in a heartbeat to have a kid like you.
Both movies also break their characters' fantasies, as they momentarily slip out of the fantastical state so the audience witnesses the facade fall and the loneliness they feel take center stage. We also have the female love interest, who lives conveniently close by, and is believed by Arthur and Pupnik that once she sees how successful they are with comedy, she will love them, because if the public love them, she must do too, because their approval is proof that they are worthy for her. Which also supports the concept that the protagonist's obsessive nature with yearning to show that they are good enough by being funny will convince themselves that they are no longer outcasts and society will finally stand with them. This theme is far stronger in Joker, as we are given more backstory to Arthur. He is angry and seeks justice for those that society rejects because they believe they are lesser, as he so poignantly expresses on the Murray Franklin show.
Nobody thinks what it's like to be the other guy. You think men like Thomas Wayne ever think what it's like to be someone like me?
Each story ends in the same enigma as the characters achieve their goal. For Pupnik, that is performing his stand-up set even though it will mean he is arrested for kidnapping Jerry Langford, and for Arthur that is shooting Murray live on air and exposing that he killed the bankers on the subway, subjecting him to life imprisonment. The following scenes in both are moments of euphoric outpours of love and appreciation for the actions of both characters, as they finally receive the affection they have sought after. But did they? Did the world view them as heroes, or did they imagine it all, just like they fantasize about all the previous scenarios littered throughout each movie? Scorsese and Phillips leave the audience to decide if anything that they saw even happened. We begin backtracking and deciding if they are actually just wasting away in prison or if they even made it on the show in the first place. It's a concept that has been exploited in storytelling. We've seen it in American Psycho, Swiss Army Man, and to an extent in Inception. And whilst it is an overdone plot device, I have also just listed off some of my favourite movies and they do it, so I really have no leg to stand on. There are also intertextual references in Joker that I believe directly reference the king of comedy, such as the hallway running scenes, sitting on a talk show sofa talking to their idol. Robert De Niro playing Murray in Joker is a clear intertextual reference to Jerry Langford. Their grand entrance from behind the curtain on the show, taking in the applause of an audience, a comedy routine comprising of self-deprecating jokes and jokes about their mother.
When the other kids picked on me. Yeah, they used to beat me up once a week, usually Tuesday.
You'll have to work for a living.
No, I won't, Ma. I'm gonna be a comedian.
Additionally, the cinematographers Lawrence Sher of Joker and Fred Schuler of King of Comedy create strong cinematic atmospheres through color. King of Comedy comprises of bold, primary colors like blue, white, and red, which depict a sense of simplicity, as though Rupert himself is quite elementary and believes there is an innocence to his actions. And for Joker, the colors are darker, almost muddy. The rusty oranges, subtle blues, and deep reds signify a man who has been beaten, defeated, and lost all sense of what makes life beautiful. Now, there are hundreds of videos analyzing the mise-en-scene of Joker, so I don't need to, but color does play its own character in the movies. Todd Phillips has not been shy about his influences. He has credited King of Comedy as inspiration for the movie, especially when securing De Niro as Murray to satirically reference Jerry Langford. He does directly acknowledge the influence Scorsese has had on his work. Each movie is set in New York, and Taxi Driver is also pastiche for the heavy atmosphere and dark aesthetic of New York. Whilst Taxi Driver portrays a New York City that beats you down and steals the color from your life, King of Comedy is brighter and doesn't feature the iconic city as so downtrodden. Obviously, they are not the same movie, as there are clear differences. I find the events in Joker more circumstantial and less realistic, such as how in order for Arthur to appear on the Murray Franklin show, he is recorded whilst performing an uncomfortable stand-up set that goes viral for being so bad, Murray wants him on the show to talk to him about it in an attempt to make a fool out of Arthur, whilst Arthur also just so happens to be the one who killed the bankers on the subway, and now the clown get-up has become a symbol of hope for the working class to stand up against the rich. On the other hand, the King of Comedy feels a lot more plausible. Jerry Langford seems like a fairly true depiction of how a talk show host would act in these various situations, and Pupnik stubbornly waiting in his office to see him, turning up at his house, and kidnapping him in order to bargain Jerry's safety for a slot on the show does make more sense to me. At this point, I would like to mention I thoroughly enjoy Joker. However, if you took away Joaquin's harrowing and perfectly uncomfortable performance, this movie would not have been as successful in my opinion. Todd Phillips is known for comedies like The Hangover, and the simplicity of the story does show that. Whilst King of Comedy is by no means a complicated story, it is purposely simple and does not try too hard to complicate the plot. Another prominent narrative in Joker is the attention spent on highlighting Arthur's troubling mental health, and the impact trauma and abuse can have on a person. Whilst Arthur's actions of violence and murder are extreme, as an audience we understand why Arthur acts this way. Pupnik's past is more cloaked. We can see he has compulsions and the inability to understand social cues, but it was only at the end of his stand-up that he reveals he was bullied in school, had an alcoholic mother, and an absent father, much like Arthur.
But seriously, you should have seen my mother. She was wonderful. Blonde, beautiful, intelligent, alcoholic.
Additionally, the score in Joker is far more present in the movie. A consistent character trait for Arthur is his performative nature, not just from being a clown, but the idea that Arthur has his own internal music playing, and he dances to the rhythm which purposely correlates with the non-diegetic sound in the movie. Pupnik is more wooden. He does not have the same fluidity to his performance. Whilst his character likes to perform, it feels more forced for Pupnik. This is not a critique of De Niro's acting. It feels like a purposeful choice for Rupert to always be on, as though he has to present himself as a talk show host would at all times, whilst Arthur lives a more insular life, and he uses his own rhythm as a way to navigate the world to further emphasize that he is misunderstood. However, music also poses a great source of inner confidence for him, such as the iconic moment when he dances down the steps to Gary Glitter. We can draw parallels from so many forms of art. It is common in movies for directors to intertextually reference shots or dialogue from other movies. The references to King of Comedy are undeniably evident in Joker. The plot, characters, and idea in the movie are strikingly similar that you feel like you're watching the same movie at times. But I do love each movie, and I'm currently in lockdown, so I thought I'd make a video about it, because I'm very bored. Thank you for watching, and if you've not seen either of these movies, you should watch them right now. I don't know.